Today we're going to talk about the Kurtis Connor and iDubbz situation that happened on Twitter. Those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Kurtis went over to VidCon and there was a picture with Kurtis and iDubbz at some VidCon party. And boy, oh boy, did that set Twitter on fire. I'm probably asking, what were people saying? So we're going to talk about that. And what I really feel like I want to discuss is why these people who are being social justice warriors are going a little too far overboard, right? There's a point of understanding within this, and then there's the point of zero understanding that these people cannot get. They're just going way too far. So that's what I want to talk about here. So if you go on Twitter, you can see tweets right here. You'll say, Kurtis Connor with iDubbz, I'm throwing up. Not Kurtis Connor hanging out with iDubbz, let me out. And these got 1,000 views on it, 1,000 views. Go down here, Kurtis Connor linking up with iDubbz, are you serious? No, are people surprised that Kurtis Connor would associate with iDubbz? Doesn't he notoriously have a shitty friend that he consistently defends? I don't like how people are surprised that Kurtis Connor took a pic with iDubbz. Kurtis Connor announcing new shit as if he didn't take a pic, cheesing it up with iDubbz. Now, why are they mad? Because it's something on the internet specifically. This is not a real life thing. This is something on the internet, and I want to talk about the two sides of this main issue. Look at iDubbz past. iDubbz was someone who, used to harass people. He used to say slurs, all that kind of thing, right? And recently, he had made this apology over here called I Miss the Old iDubbz, where he came out and openly talked about it all. And if you're a normal person that understands how real life, not just internet people work, you will begin to understand that this was a growth moment. And there's people that watch this video and go, oh man, no matter what he says, I could never understand him. And honestly, the vast majority that commented on this, and even people that aren't even fans of his directly, looked at this and said good for him for apologizing and saw that as a growth moment for him. Now there's the good 40% of people that did comment and were like, oh man, you still messed up. And those are the same people that are upset that Kurtis even bat an eye to iDubbz, because they look at that and they go, well, if Kurtis is hanging out with iDubbz, that means Kurtis agrees with these terrible things that he's done, which is just an assumption from these people, not an actual thing that is happening in real life or even on the internet. At what point is Kurtis tweeting out, oh man, all that stuff that iDubbz did, I love all that old shit? Like, no, nobody ever said that. That's why people are getting upset. And that is where I want to talk about why social justice warriors have gone too far. It's okay to go on the internet and stick up for what's right? I think in my generation and generations before me, I'm 28 years old, I think we like to stand up for what is right and stuff that, maybe people like our parents once, said certain things or grew up with things being a certain way that are maybe, anti-LGBTQ community, or maybe things that are racist that they've carried over from their generation, or things that are like homophobic, whatever it is, that we're now like, hey, maybe that's not the right thing to say. Like, we got to kind of stick up for that, right? And that stuff's great. I'm glad we're doing that. I'm glad we're all kind of trying to set the record straight and stick up for what is like real social justice in the grand scheme of things that extends as far as real life, right? So that when your friend is saying something homophobic, you can nicely remind them and be like, hey, don't say that, that's homophobic, and then kind of alert them in that way, right? But that stuff's great. I'm all for that. But it's when you cannot look past someone who has grown. Now, let's pull up a good example of this. Dean on Clean Hamster podcast right here. He, a long time ago, tweeted out some stuff that people have not forgotten. He will regularly talk about this on his podcast, and I'm sure that fact that I'm bringing this up, there's going to be people commenting being like, oh man, so you like Dean? How dare you? Dean, if you like Dean, that means I can't watch you. In reality, if you're saying that, you're probably not older than like 16, because when you become a grown, fully matured adult, you will start to see the way that people interact in real life, the way that, social justice actually is. And when you're sitting here going, looking at someone like Dean, who has fessed up to the mistakes he's made time and time again and shown that he has grown as a person and become someone who's very understanding of these things, and you can't see that as someone bettering themselves, it's kind of the same concept as if someone's like going to therapy to work on themselves, and then you're still beating them up for these things that they didn't learn from therapy. It's like, that's why people do that. We grow, we become better. Now, having said all of that, there are other situations that you kind of can't let go of that are disgusting or really bad situations. And let's talk about those situations real quickly, like the recent Colleen Ballinger situation, which is a situation of child grooming. And, this extends as far as like a Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star situation, where it's like, ew, that stuff's disgusting. You can't look at those guys and go, well, they didn't ever, mess with little kids. Like, that stuff's disgusting. No matter how old you are, even in real life, people are going to look at you and go, ugh, you're that person, right? Like, I had a teacher that is now out of jail for, essaying a student. And I'm 28, and I still look at that from, however many years ago, and I go, oh, that guy's gross. Like, I'm not going to just go, huh, he did that, let's forgive him. Like, no, that situation you cannot forgive. Those kinds of things are disgusting, right? Like, another example of this is I knew someone who got killed by a professional skater, right? When he's out of jail, which he shouldn't get out of jail, but when he gets out of jail, I don't think people are going to eventually go, huh, we'll forgive him for that. Like, yeah, maybe some idiots on the internet will be like, yeah, who cares? Normal people aren't going to look at that and go, oh man, let's just let that go by. Like, no, you're going to remember that for the rest of your life. And other people that are normal are going to also remember that. And then at which point you cannot forgive this person for doing that, because you literally killed someone. That's not a forgivable behavior. So to bring this kind of like all to a wrap here, situations like what iDubbz has done, where he has now grown from his past, he's learned, he's dealt with his wife getting harassed, all sorts of crazy internet behavior. And now that he's actually kind of came out with this and grown as an adult, a normal human being sees this as someone who's grown. So there's also this weird thing on the internet where people it's like, heaven forbid, someone on the internet hangs out with someone who did something slightly wrong in the past. Even if it isn't a long-term punishable behavior and this person hangs out or even like remotely talks to this person, it seems like these people on the internet, like, they can't ever do anything together. This person sucks now that they're with this person. And it's too far. It's too far, and that type of behavior needs to end on the internet. I'm willing to not think that people that are over the age of 21 are like this. Maybe it's just younger people that are going overboard, being social justice warriors, are the ones partaking in this. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. This has been on my mind a lot, and I think it applies to a bigger culture on the internet. So I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe, because 75% of the people on this channel are not subscribing. They're just watching. So if you subscribe, maybe we can get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'll continue to make more videos. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.